Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to have lots of tips on the key fundamental techniques that are required when drawing black and white fur. And for this video I'm going to demonstrate that on a recent guinea pig project that I completed. So one of the first things here that's really important to consider is that we don't want to be jumping into the top details right away. For me, drawing realistic fur all starts at the base foundation. I want it to have a good degree of softness. I am indicating at my main placement of the highlights and shadows, and I want to ensure as much as possible that I have no harsh edges between those lights and darks. And to map this in, I'm using my eye makeup applicator. My reason for this is because it was giving me the extra level of softness that I wanted for this fur. And that really did depend on the fur length. Because this is a little bit longer here, I wanted to have some softness that this fur typically should have at the base stage. Now when I'm working with this, I am really paying attention to the way that the fur moves. The changes of the fur direction are not random, they do follow the underlying bone and muscular structure. So regardless of the fur colour, this is something here that I do like to capture right from this very first stage. Once I have my base foundation in place, then I can start working with my graphite pencils. However, you'll notice here that the base foundation is nowhere near as dark as what the end result is going to be. This is something that's very important because no amount of graphite powder is ever going to be as dark as the graphite pencils themselves. So the base foundation, although it's accurate in terms of my placement of my highlights and shadows and as much of that fur direction indicated, I cannot get that as dark and therefore my contrast established where it needs to be. And this is where I'm now evolving and adapting my base foundation. You'll see here that I'm not actually adding any detail. I am simply just reinforcing the values that I'm working with. As I start to progress through my layers, my darker stages are going to be more enhanced. I want to be making sure that this contrast is developed over time rather than just jumping into my softest, darkest pencil first. There are a few reasons for that, but one of them is that I want to maximize the depth as much as possible. If I jump in with one single dark layer, despite this fur being very, very dark, then I am going to miss out on lots of potential depth and therefore the realism that I could capture here. So my preference is to always work with many layers, and it is a gradual process. Now when I feel like I've got an area about 70-80% done, I can then move on. I like to piece the puzzle together in stages and then I can always go back and revisit areas. So when working on white fur, this would apply for any lighter coloured fur regardless of the specific colour. I like to again work with my graphite powder. You'll see though that I'm being a lot more cautious with how dark this graphite layer should be. I can then build up more of my layers with the graphite powder, but I don't want to rush in and just get as much of that in place first of all. There is always that slight worry about, am I able to then get my highlights bright enough if that base foundation is too dark? So I eliminate any of that concern by working with more of a light to dark approach. Once I've got a variation of my tones here, you can see that it's not one solid layer, and yet again I have indicated at my changes in the fur direction. Then I can start to either work with my graphite pencils or in some cases straight to the erasers. And that's what I have done here. So working on the ear, I am using my Tombow mono eraser and just simply mapping in a little bit more definition. This is where some of the detailing is being hinted at, but it still isn't the details that are on the very top layers of that fur. There are also many times where I'll use these erasers and they won't really show up. My highlights don't appear at all. And one of the first questions I ask myself is whether or not that is because my base foundation isn't dark enough. This is something that can cause real issues with the layering process, and again why my base foundation is so important. If I'm too worried about going too dark and then I overcompensate and my base layer is just overall too light, then when I'm trying to pull in my highlights, they're never going to show up. There needs to be enough of that darker foundation in place in order for the highlights to be visible. And it's also very important to not allow that fear of going too dark to prevent that contrast from being established. And when I start to revisit back with my graphite pencils, again, I'm not jumping into my darkest pencil, but I do want to make sure that I've got the values side by side correct. So if I've got a particularly light section of fur that I want to look brighter, but I can't actually make that happen because the white of the paper is exposed, for example, then I know that I need to darken up what's next to it. By adjusting that contrast and making the shadows darker, that fur darker, it will immediately make the highlight next to it appear brighter. That's a great example within the eye. If you've got a highlight in the eye and you have allowed the white of the paper to show through, you physically cannot get that any lighter, but you feel like it still looks dull, then it's probably because the darker portions of the eye, the eyelid, the pupil, any shadows there aren't dark enough. So this is where everything here needs to be taken into account. At this stage of the drawing, this is where I'm now considering the white fur. So on top of my graphite powder layer, I'm now using a lighter, harder graphite pencil to indicate at that slightly darker foundation. This still isn't my detail. I want to get the base foundation a little bit more established. Once I was happier with the range of values here, not too dark, but making sure I had enough graphite powder in place, then I started working with my erasers. Now, first of all, I've used here the Tombow Mono Eraser. This works really well for adding in finer details that look like a white pencil has been used. Now, in all of my graphite tutorials, I only ever work just with graphite. I don't incorporate any white pens for highlights, anything like that. I do prefer to use the erasers or allow the white of the paper to show through as previously mentioned. You do have a couple of different options for erasers, but the Tombow Mono Eraser does work very well for this kind of white fur. So moving on to the rest of the face, this is where the white fur continued, and the rest of the body after this is then going to be more blending techniques where that fur is out of focus. However, I have to be making sure that I've got the level of detail right. When I've got portions of fur that are out of focus and blurry, next to areas of detail, I do want to make sure that I've got that balance correct. If the details are too harsh, then it's going to almost pull too much focus to that area of the drawing. If the area of fur that is out of focus is too blurry, it's just going to be lost in the background or not really going to look like that area of the animal. So the techniques that I'm using here need to be adjusted precisely and correctly. But before I move on to that, I'm going to continue with my base foundation. Yet again, everything that I've mentioned previously is incorporated here. I'm simply mapping in where some of those light and dark areas are. That's going to help me to follow that reference photo more precisely. If there aren't as many changes in the fur direction, then I need to try to work out why. And in this situation, it's partly because the head is turned a little bit more to the side, and it's almost stretching out that side of the face. It's not as compressed. So trying to replicate that here is going to help with the shape and form of the animal. So there are a lot of techniques here that when drawing realism need to be thought about. The layering process, how we're holding the pencils, using the erasers, at what point do we need to add more detail or soften. Everything there can potentially start to get overwhelming, and this is why I like to work in small sections but individual layers. There are of course many different ways to get to the same end, but I do just find that working this way reduces my potential to skip layers. So I want to be making sure that wherever possible, no matter the technique that I'm using, each area of fur has as much depth as possible and that the texture is correct. But there are also times where I don't get it right first time, and that's absolutely fine. We're human, we make mistakes, but it's knowing how to fix the mistakes that can make a big difference and improve our drawing skills. Whenever I do create something that I don't like, whether or not it be a mistake, there is an issue with the proportions, for example, I will always include that in my real-time step-by-step lessons. They are able to be more thorough because I'm recording those tutorials with a voiceover while I'm drawing. So everything is explained in the moment. Whether or not I change how I'm holding the pencil, the pressure to the pencil, all of these things have a very big impact to what that pencil stroke looks like. If my real-time lessons are of interest, I'll link the information to those in the description below. But here, for example, is one of those times where I started adding in my lighter details, feeling that I was ready for that stage, and they weren't really showing up. I didn't make my base foundation as dark as it needed to be. So I went back in, used my eye makeup applicator and graphite powder, darkened that area, and then came back with the erasers. Something as minor as that does have a big impact to what that level of realism can be. If I think, oh, it's okay, I'll leave it as it is, that area of the drawing is going to be flat. For example, here where I go back with my graphite powder, this is helping to establish more of the jaw shape on the side of the face. Without that very slight darker addition there, I would have lost that. It wouldn't be as accurate to that reference photo. This may then potentially start to make that area of the face look very wide. So it might only be something that took a few seconds to correct, but it has that big impact that I need for this level of realism. So with all of those tips in mind when drawing further detailed and in focus, it's something where we do need to shift how we're using the pencils and building up those layers. When working with fur that is blurry, I want to be having the indication of that level of softness. The level of softness needs to be adjusted depending on how out of focus the fur is. In this case, the body towards the side of the face was more out of focus. That foot at the back was far more blurrier than the front feet. So as I'm starting to work with my paper blending stump, there are no harsh edges, but there is a lot more definition here, but still softness, compared to the back foot. The back foot is more darker, it's in shadow, but it's also got a far softer edge to it. It does also blend a little bit more into the shadow under the foot. These are things that we do need to consider with something like this. Now, the reason I opted to use my paper blending stump here rather than my eye makeup applicator is simply that the method here, it's a little bit more controlled. So the eye makeup applicator has a larger, softer point, and that therefore is harder to get more of these precise light and dark changes. Given how small this foot is in relation to the size of the artwork, this paper blending stump worked well. But the same methods apply in terms of mapping in my lights and my darks and making sure that I do have those soft edges. And just like when I worked on the detailed portions, when I'm happy with my graphite powder foundation, then I go back with my pencils. This is where I am gradually darkening this up, and I will also incorporate that shadow to help ground the subject to the paper. I don't like to leave just the subject as it is because that can sometimes then look like it's floating. But certainly for a portrait like this, I could have added a little bit of grass around the feet, something that just helped to merge that onto the paper. Now, when I'm working with my graphite pencils here, when the areas of fur are softer, I don't want to have as much of that definition in the lines. Now, if I start to use my pencils and I feel like the line is too harsh, I can go back with my graphite powder over the top to soften. This is something where you can revisit previous techniques as much as you want. The only consideration is to make sure that we don't overblend, which can happen when using graphite powder, especially when using an eye makeup applicator to apply that. Now, the last few minutes of my drawings are where I am adjusting the contrast and those final details such as whiskers. But as I'm starting to use these darker pencils around the nose, which is hyping up that contrast here, look at how this part of the face almost comes closer to the camera. So this is helping to enhance that level of realism and again the shape and form of the subject. Just by adding in a few very small darker areas around the nose, I've added a lot more of that dimension here. Once I'm happier with everything that is underneath the whiskers, then I can add those in. If the whiskers are added in too soon, then we have to draw around them when the areas underneath need to be reworked. That can be done, but it's very fiddly and therefore more time consuming. So as much as I possibly can, I want to get all areas of that subject underneath the whiskers done first. So when drawing whiskers, this is going to depend on whether or not the whiskers are lighter or darker, because obviously for darker whiskers we can use the graphite pencils, but I would recommend to pick the graphite pencil depending on how soft you need that lead. So if the whiskers are quite dark, then you can go in with something maybe like a 2B. If they're very faint, then it might be a 2H that is best. However, if the whiskers are lighter and an eraser therefore needs to be used, we do have a couple of options. So first of all here, I've used the Tombow Mono Eraser yet again, and this works very well for creating those longer but fine lines. But if the layers of fur underneath are very dark, then this can be more tricky to get those lighter lines established. You could then switch over maybe to a battery eraser, something like that that has a little bit more of the direct application. So I do hope this video has been useful. If it was, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a like and a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I do also upload a couple of videos to YouTube every week, so if you would like to get notified of that content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button. If you have any art-related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help if I can. And if you would like to draw along to the real-time version of this tutorial, I'll link all of the information to that in the description below. I will be uploading another video next week, but as always, thank you so much for watching.